currently the secretary of GM Financial Toastmasters Club, and I've been there for 4 years. It really helped me.
And if any of us in District 25 forget, we have it right back here, the Nepalese Society of Texas. Isn't that a cool banner? That is very
Not
nice.
Irving. In the paper it says Irving.
You can scratch. Please help me welcome BN.
So first of all, thank you so much, Toastmaster leader Bobby Madera, fellow Toastmasters, fellow Nepalese Society members, President of Nepalese Society of Texas, respected community leaders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is B.N. Pond. I serve in this community, Dallas Service Lions Club as past president, and serve currently as the president of United Nepalese Association, an organization that helps Nepalese American integrate into American mainstream. I had a chance to join Toastmasters in Oklahoma State University. We had a club called Stillwater Toastmaster Club, and I had an opportunity to serve 2 years. But as time passed, I have forgotten some of the protocols and structures. But despite that, I believe I do my best. And thank you so much for this opportunity, especially President of Nepalese Society of Texas. Thank you so much for bringing this endeavors, motivation to help us promote and grow our leadership and public speaking capability. I really admire and thank you so much. And today, in this icebreaker speech, I'm going to talk about a topic called rapport. So I don't know if you can see or not, but the topic of my speech spells R-A-P-P-O-R-T, rapport. Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many influential people in our community, so many ordinary people in our community, so many people with good connection. Connecting them, really convincing them helps us achieve what we want. But believe me, they're not gonna give us what they have to us unless and until we really do something in exchange. We really try to communicate them in such a way that they feel like, hey, this is a good guy. Let's do something for him. Give him, I have the connection so that he can be successful. But the question is, there is a huge gap in between that. We feel that we are really good at communication. We are really good at talking to them, don't we? Of course we do. We believe that our communication, verbal capability, does all the thing. We speak. I'm good at speaking. I have great English, even if I'm not a native speaker. And we have a lot of kind of self-pampering thing about ourselves. That's just a blessing. Research says that word can communicate only 7%. The rest of the thing, the tool that we lack. So what I'm bringing here is, if you meet a celebrity or even a president, and you got a rare honor to sitting with him in his office and talk about you, how many of you would raise your hand and take that opportunity? Wonderful, thank you. And of course, and you go there on the first, go, Mr. President, it's my great honor to see you. Thank you for this opportunity. Then you start utilizing your tools, right? What would be your tools to start communicating, winning his favor? what would be the first thing you would start doing there? Anybody? Most probably you would start asking questions. Am I right? Absolutely. Well, asking question is absolutely fine. But it is only one tool to dig. Ask. You keep on asking. But we never know that whether we really start communicating or not. Start really hitting his interest, becoming really likable or not. There is a question. So, instead of asking question, here are something that we really want to employ or use in our communication.
It depends what he likes. He likes his appreciation or asking questions.
Thank you so much. I will come to that. Thank you so much. I'll come to that point. I'm bringing the aspect. So, what I'm trying to bring here is we always have to have a making and mirroring effect. Understanding what someone we are communicating is looking for. There was a research, there was a psychiatrist, medical doctor, his name was Martin Erickson. So around 35 years, he practiced this communication idea, really trying to communicating, not speaking, not expressing your, ideas, but communicating, understanding, creating that rapport, commonality in communication. That's why there is marriage. That's why there is happy match. Someone thinks, oh, you know what? I like this person. So let's talk some of this point. What Dr. Erickson did is he treated his patient who was very frustrated. I went here, there, nowhere. Nobody could really do anything for me. Dr. Erickson did. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Have you tried this and that? So he found that by doing that, he communicated, he established his proper commonality, and the patient was very happy. I think I'm running out of time. I missed 7 points that were important things to speak here. I'm not that well trained to give a speech on time frame, so we'll talk about that. So keep in mind that rapport, not communication, but creating commonality is the winning tool. Thank you so much.
On behalf of District 25, I want to present him a coin, a challenge coin. On one side, it's got the core values of Toastmasters International, which is integrity, respect, service, and excellence. And on the other side, what I mentioned earlier, it's celebrating you 70 years strong. So the proper way of a challenge coin is to handshake. Thank you so much for your speech. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
Speech number 9.
Our next speaker has been in Toastmasters a while. He speaks and coaches professionally. He says he's going to teach us about losers. Ugh. And why, most important, and why losing is important. We'll see. He intends to give a 5 to 7 minute instructional speech on the importance of losing. Please welcome to the front of the room with his speech entitled 29,999 Losers, our distinguished Toastmaster, Thomas Furlan-Cossi.
I was sitting in my truck in the parking lot of a Marriott hotel in Grapevine. It was dark. It was pretty late at night. I sat and looked over in the seat next to me, and there she was. She was beautiful. It's everything I'd ever wanted. Lots of people would covet having this particular trophy. And for a few moments I cried. I realized that that was an occasion where I cried tears of joy. She was, in fact, my Sagarmatha, my Mount Everest.
Oh.
I cried 3 times in the last 10 years. That night, the night that my mother died. And joyously I cried the night that I got to perform a wedding ceremony for 2 young Toastmaster friends. But as I sat in that truck and looked at my trophy, and I realized that I was headed to the semifinals of the World Championships of Public Speaking, I thought about the losers that I left back in the hotel. And I realized these weren't losers. First of all, these were my friends. Some of them I had competed against a number of times. And I told myself, one small part of being in Toastmasters includes competitions. In fact, every year, about 30,000 Toastmasters enter on the club level a speech contest. When it's all over with, several months later, there's only one winner. So technically, there are 29,999 losers. The truth is, the thing I want to impart to you today is that in Toastmasters, we're all losers. Here's why. Because we're here to lose our fears. We're here to lose our inhibitions. We're here to lose what I call limiting beliefs that hold us back. Like, am I smart enough? Am I strong enough? Do I have a good enough vocabulary? The fact is that there are no losers in Toastmasters, except that they lose those things that are holding them back from getting what they want in life. I want to tell you a couple of stories about this because I've been in the competitions many, many times. If you checked at home, I literally have about 100 trophies that are second place and third place, and some certificates where I didn't get second or third place. But part of the purpose was setting the goals and getting better and achieving a higher level each time I attempted it. And the thing about it that made it such an emotional moment is I knew how important it was for those other people I had competed against. You see, the contest starts in about 160 countries. It is an English-speaking contest, but the participants represent a little under 10% of all the members of Toastmasters in the world. A side benefit that I think is especially cool is I now have friends in dozens of countries that I've met face-to-face in a number of locations. Not only is that a network that communicates with each other by Facebook or other means, email of course, but we're mutually supportive, which is part of the mission statement of the organization. The idea behind Toastmasters is to create an environment that's mutually supportive where we all try to become a better version of ourselves. So I don't want to be BN, and BN doesn't want to be me, but we can teach each other how to be better versions of ourselves. And that's the beauty of being a loser in Toastmasters. If you can get past your fears, if you can get past your inhibitions, if you can tell yourself that those limiting beliefs don't get in your way, then you have all the opportunity in the world to grow as far as you can imagine. Now I want to go a little bit in more detail about this particular, the third situation where I had some tears late at night. You see, a young man joined my Toastmaster Club several years ago, and his wife-to-be was doing her residency at a hospital in Fort Worth, JPS. One day he came up into my Toastmaster Club and said, "Hey, Monica and I want you to marry us." And I hadn't done that before, but I had become a minister, and I said, "Sure." And they said, "Well, we want you to marry us in California at my family's property in the middle of redwoods alongside a lake this summer." I was obviously honored and flattered. But the thing about that wedding was it was a 7-day celebration, including camping in the redwoods and sleeping by the lake in a tent and going on hikes every day with a lot of really younger people than me. And that night after the wedding, these people who were doctors-to-be and working in government in the United States were all celebrating by swimming in the lake late at night. Now, honestly, there was some pretty nice California wine involved in that particular occasion. But I was floating on my back thinking to myself, as I looked at the Milky Way, the stars up in the sky, how amazing the opportunity was. not only to do this, but to connect with those people and make a difference in their lives without them knowing that they had actually made a difference in my life. The message I want to encourage you today is never think that it's wrong to be a loser if you're losing the fears that hold you back. If you can identify your inhibitions and get over those. And if you can stop telling yourself, I can't do it because of this, or because of this, or because of this. In Toastmasters every year, on paper, there are 29,999 losers. But I can tell you, not just these friends here with me today, everyone is a winner in Toastmasters.
I strive to be a loser. Of all those things that Thomas mentioned, losing the fear, getting up and speaking in front of people that I haven't met until today. That's what Toastmasters does for you. It gives you confidence to do things that you never thought possible that you could do or you can do. All right, well, that finishes our first slice of the pie in our prepared speeches. I hope you're still hungry for some more pie. Our second slice today is our impromptu section, our table topics, and our table topics master today is Ninfa Fluid. Please help me welcome Ninfa.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. I am so glad to see you guys out here today learning about Toastmasters. As Bobby mentioned, this portion of our meeting is the impromptu portion of our meeting. This is a chance for you to learn to speak on your feet. It's an opportunity for you to learn how to quickly put thoughts together and then speak with authority. It's an opportunity for you to, if you're going for a promotion at work and you happen to run into your boss in the elevator and you have the elevator ride from the ground floor to the 5th floor to tell him about what you're working on. You have that long to think about putting together a coherent presentation. As our theme was mentioned earlier, celebrating you, my mom celebrated me when I was 16 years old and I got my first job. She was so happy that she didn't have to pay for gas in my car or the clothes that I wanted. And I was happy as well. Batu agreed earlier to be our first table topics question. Batu, will you tell us please about your first job?
Thank you, Madam Topic Master. Let me talk to you why I used to join the Toastmasters. Forget about my first job. We do a lot of things in our lives. Since 16 years, you do a lot of jobs, you go to college, you go to do everything. But there are two things we do in our life that impacts the most. Earning and learning. Those two things you do throughout your life. Maybe not earning, but learning you do throughout your life. But if you look those two words, there is one significant difference. Can anybody name that? The first letter, L. And that L means listening. That's what you do in Toastmasters. I joined Toastmasters about 3.5 years ago. And I was just like you guys sitting there, what it is about Toastmasters. I didn't know nothing about it. But that letter L, listening, that's what you get trained in Toastmasters. We do that all the time. Be a speaker, or you impromptu speaker, or evaluator, or any role you do in Toastmasters. That helps your listening skills. Why you should join Toastmasters? To improve your listening. The rest of the things will fall in line. Celebrate your charter and be a member of Toastmasters. I will talk to you.
Thank you very much. That was a perfect example of using your time wisely to put a thought together that didn't have anything to do with the question, but that's your minute. Your minute, talk till you see the green light, your 1 minute to say what you want to say. For me, table topics is a part really where you get to give your heart. It's the opportunity to speak about what's on your mind. My next question is going to be one about my first car. My first car was an old clunker. It was a $600 car, but my grandfather bought it for me, and it got me to work every day, and I was so happy to have it. Leela volunteered before the meeting to answer our next question. Leela, will you tell us about your first vehicle, your first car, or whatever you'd like to talk about, actually? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Neepa. Thank you very much, table speaker, Neepa. Did I say your name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Neepa, okay, thank you. And thank you for everyone, Toastmasters, guys. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm standing in front of you very first time. Because in fact, I never heard about Toastmasters. I only heard Toastmaster without the letter S. So today I learned this is not Toastmaster, this is Toastmasters and also Masters International. So I would like to stand up here behind the table so that you guys cannot see my shaking legs. Because I was thinking there are only 10 or 15 people here, but when I came here, I can see 4 times, maybe 40 or 50 people. So I'm sweating here. Okay, so she mentioned her car was $600 worth, her first car. My car was a little bit better than yours. Because my car was Honda Accord. I paid $1,800 and I made almost $90,000 driving that car to my job. So I never forget that car. That was my first car. I do not have any other words or phrases, how I wish I could need the words so that you guys cannot skip for another 30 seconds or 60 seconds. But for today, I do not have that many words. However, I would remember the words rapper, and the losers, and earning and learning. Those 3 words. Thank you so much.
That concludes my portion of the meeting. I will at this time turn it back over to your Toastmaster, Mr. Bobby Madeira. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ninfa. It's hard to have a celebration without pictures. There's not going to be that problem today. Because I see videos going on, I see pictures being taken, so this is awesome. So thank you, Dinesh, for taking all of these videos and everybody else that's taking pictures. The more photography we have, the better. In fact, maybe I should take a picture. Yeah, as was mentioned, there's probably 40 to 50 people here. This is incredible. Anybody, Dinesh, are you a member or follower of the District 25 Facebook page?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, you'll see those on there later today.
Thank you.
Yes, and
All right, so we're 2/3 of the way through our pie. We're now entering into the last slice, which is our our general evaluation, which we're going to provide feedback now on all the parts of the meeting. And our general evaluator today is Suresh Basil. Suresh, could you come up and be our general evaluator, please?
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Distinguished Toastmasters from District 25, our community leaders, my friends in Nepalese society. This portion of meeting is giving feedback to our speakers and also giving feedback to the meeting. So I'd like to first ask our evaluators who will evaluate our speakers. So first speaker was B.N. Panta and our evaluator is Joyce. I'd like to request Joyce to evaluate B.N.
Come down and shake my hand down here. Thank you so much. Someday you will be older and you won't want to take those steps either. Thank you, Ben, for that wonderful presentation. I only have one thing to say. OMG. Your objectives were for us to get to know you. Very successful. I learned you were a very, very active man in your community. I also learned that I was very touched by how appreciative you are. You thanked everybody in the room at many levels. And then, to make sure there was no one missed, ladies and gentlemen, you're a good communicator. You knew to be most effective to have a visual aid. Very nice. An opportunity that was missed. Always allow your Toastmaster to introduce yourself. And you had done just that. But you took valuable speech time and introduced yourself again. And you ran out of time. And we missed an opportunity to hear your entire presentation. We were all ears. But the greatest thing that you did, you are going to be such an asset for this program. You've been in Toastmasters since 2012. You are already an experienced speaker. That was very obvious by the fact that you had no notes. You had excellent vocal variety. And you had great hand gestures that supported what you were saying. In summary, we got to know you. You're very active, you're very appreciative, and you're a very good communicator. Remember, let the Toastmaster introduce you. And what an asset to this organization you are going to be. I look forward to seeing great things from each of you and collectively, and I'll know they benefited from your great presentation today and in the future. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you guys for the evaluation. Next, we have Lawrence evaluating our second speaker, Thomas.
Thank you for inviting me. This has been a very welcoming group. And I want to thank Thomas again for putting together another top-notch level speech. That one of the things I liked about his speech is how he made his introduction and mentioned Mount Everest in Nepalese. That was impressive and above and beyond what I considered most of the presentation. The other things that he does well is the imagery. Laying on his back, floating in the lake, looking up at the Milky Way. I could just visualize that. He does that really well. The thing that if I had to pick on him about anything is maybe the volume level. That sometimes he got so soft that I couldn't hear him halfway back through the crowd. Maybe those in the back couldn't hear him. But maybe that was just one of the things that I would take away. But Thomas is a fantastic speaker, and I really like how he uses the audience and engages with the audience on a personal level that I thought was above and beyond. Thank you, Thomas.
Now I would like to briefly talk about the meeting. So we started meeting a little earlier than planned. It was planned for 4 o'clock, but we started 3:30, which is great, right? So everyone wants to go home early, but with some good vibes and some decision about this. We'll have time for Q&A after that, after this meeting. So I'm a member of Urban Toastmaster Club for 3 years, and I earned my CC, we call competent communicator and competent leader. That's why I'm here evaluating this meeting. Otherwise, I won't sign up for any meeting to be in front of people. and that is, some of you already know me very well in the community. I won't come in front of group of people to talk about anything, even about myself. I do not do that. But because of the Toastmaster meetings, several meetings, different roles, I don't hesitate to jump into any meeting, anywhere, anytime. Any type of meeting, no worries. Whether it's a wedding or even other ceremonies. But as our speakers already mentioned, setting the goals and getting better every day. That's our goal. If I become part of this club, then I'll set another level goals. That means learning is like never-ending business. That's what all of us did today. So some of you may have other questions, but we started on time. Our evaluators gave feedback on our speakers. Our first evaluator, Joyce, talked about BN's very positive. BN is already in the community, very active and a speaker. But by being BN in the club, other members can take advantage of his skills, and we can share. Like we had a table topic. Batuk talked about, okay, forget about my first job or anything, but why I joined Toastmasters 3.5 years ago, and I earned my DTM like this year, right? Congratulations, Batuk Vestaji. Also, I was similar to Leela, where I would run out of any words, and I won't complete like 2 minutes talk. But Leela is a great leader in the community. He is doing a lot of other work. Today he just answered the question of car and price of the car and how much he earned. He could talk another like 10-15 minutes easily about it in his next speech. With that, it is like wonderful being in front of you. And if I could help District 25 in this journey of celebrating chartered of Nepalese Society Toastmaster, I don't know what will be the name of the club. I'll become part of this club and the other club I am already in. With that, I'd like to take lecture back to our Toastmaster.
Y'all enjoyed today?
Yes.
Awesome. We are going to get a quick timers report before we go into Q&A. Can I get a timers report for me, sir?
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. BN, you went just a little bit long at 6 minutes and 50 seconds, okay? And I really wanted to hear more of your speech, so want to come back and hear more.
I'll try next time.
Thomas, 6 minutes and 42 seconds, right there, about 45 seconds before the red light, or real quick, but that too. 1 minute and 34 seconds on table topics, very good. Leela, 2 minutes and 13 seconds, perfect on table topics. And our evaluators, Joyce, 2 minutes and 23 seconds Lawrence, you were about a minute short at 1 minute and 8 seconds. That's my report. Thank you.
Outstanding. So now that we've finished our pie of a Toastmasters meeting, what questions do you have?
Yes. I have a question. What is unlimited personal growth? Can you please explain a little bit about that? Unlimited personal growth that I saw in the.
For yourself. And it's just a hypothetical question, but just think of that question. What is the capacity that you envision for your own personal development? And Toastmasters will allow you to not only fill that capacity, but continually evolve and expand the capacity. So that means that as you become a better communicator, you become a better leader, you become more confident, you're able to take on more roles outside in your work or in your volunteer organization. You're able to do things that you didn't foresee yourself being able to do. When I joined Toastmasters 5 years ago, I didn't envision myself being here today, talking to you and answering questions about how to become a Toastmasters club. That was far beyond anything I could even imagine. So the unlimited growth is really just, it allows you to think differently and think things that you don't think today, you will think later. And you just have to be in that journey and you'll see for yourself what that means. That's the best way I think.
I know.
Yes, sir.
So I heard Mr. Tornkes, did I pronounce his name right? Yes. So I heard him speak, I heard Mr. Lila speak, right? So for me, both of these gentlemen, they clearly communicated what they wanted to communicate. For me, realistically, I didn't see any difference. Because I understood what you were saying, I understood what you were saying. But it looks like Toastmasters have these adjudicating that we consider one speech to be good and the other one not to be good, or becoming a better version of ourselves.
So
what is the, how do we decide whether the speech is better than the other? I'm not trying to compete two people, but if I give a speech today versus if I give a speech 30 days from now, what is the adjudicating meter that decides which speech is better than the other?
So we don't look at what speech is better than the other one. Now, in a contest, which, Thomas, is a criteria that the judges for the contest are looking for, on whether or not you met certain criteria. So there is, in the contest, there's judging there. For your question, though, as far as giving a speech.
Who makes those? Like, based on what are they making those rules?
There is criteria for speech contest. For just in general of giving a speech, there is I'll just go into it. The education program is called Pathways, okay? And so in Pathways, you have different levels, and each level has different projects that end with a speech. And so what you get up here and give a speech today on your icebreaker, the evaluator gives you opportunities for improvement for your next speech. Then your next project ends with another speech, and you get up and you are able to then get evaluation for that speech. And it's a progressive learning. Each speech is different from the last. Each time you're getting an opportunity to improve upon that speech. But there's nobody in here judging right now what speech was better than the other speech. We're in here learning in a positive environment, trying to become better. So every speech, we're all at different levels. We all have different experiences. We've been in Toastmasters longer than some have been in Toastmasters. So we're all getting an opportunity to improve and become better ourselves, not competing against each other.
I think my question got misconstrued. I was like, basically what I'm saying is, me versus me, the rules that are made for me to improve on, where is that decided? How do you who makes a decision about this is better than that?
Let's talk about this afterwards, and I can explain a little bit further. So you want to answer?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just answer is this: who decides is you yourself are the best judge, and you
That's
decide
yeah.
from your last
Yep.
speech. And so, if you see me
4 years before when I joined Toastmasters, my first icebreaker was terrible. So when BN sees everyone of us,
all of us.
if BN after 5 years when he is told to speak, he is gonna speak whatever he had in his mind within that time frame, and that's what we are learning. So we are ourselves the best judge, and we improve, and that's what will reflect on our communication.
That's excellent. And it actually reminded me when I gave my first icebreaker. I stood right here and I read the notes word for word, and I was as nervous as could be, and I didn't want to really even look up and look at you. So to Dinesh's point, it's a self-realization that you're growing, you're becoming better. Each speech is getting better, you're getting more confident, but we can talk more about it afterwards if you'd like. Any other questions?
About the fees or anything?
So how's the
Oh, okay, that is good.
Okay, so the fees?
Yep.
All right, so you have an application in this red folder of yours. And if you decide to become a member, and we hope you do, you'd fill that application out. If you've never been a part of Toastmasters, it's $45 for 6 months and a $20 new member fee, so a total of $65. If you've been a member of Toastmasters before, like BN has, then it's $45, not the new member fee. The new member fee is one time only, but it's $45 every 6 months.
So how does the course timing schedule work? Is it weekly?
As far as the time, the cycles of renewal.
Yeah, the class, I guess.
Oh, the class.
Yeah.
So a club is a self-sustained, self-run club, self-managed. So you'll have club officers. You may be one. Club officers that help manage the club. And I believe you were talking about Dinesh. Did you want to mention as far as how often you're going to be trying to meet?
So again, so this, as Bobby mentioned, that this is a self-sustained. So I'm gonna learn from you, and you're gonna learn from me. It's that concept. So, but we have guidance from our senior area director and district director and all those teams. So it's on us. How do we wanna have it on a weekly basis? If we want to have it bi-weekly, the timings and everything. It's on us, so that's what we will have to decide once we start getting the membership. We all will decide, do you want to meet weekly or bi-weekly? And the second thing is the timing also. Do you want to do it in the morning, Sundays, or whatever? It's going to be on us. So we will do that.
Is there any invited from district level in every meeting, or we have to do it on our own?
So it's going to be till so today's was the launch, is where you saw the whole Toastmaster team, district team, area team, they have come. Now, it's gonna be not always that they will spoon feed us, but we have a pathways where all the guidance comes. So that's where we are associating with Toastmaster International, is they have the whole pathway which we will have to follow. And we have any issues or something, we will reach out to them, and in between, they will be our guest, and they will come, they will see the meeting and everything. So it's gonna be, we will be keeping an eye on each other, and we will be guided also.
And let me just add to that. So there is support. We don't just walk away. We're here to support you. So you'll have 2 club mentors that are here to support you and try to be as many meetings as they can for the next 6 months once you charter. And then there's officer training that we provide twice a year for free. So you'll get officer training, you'll have what we call an area director, as Dinesh mentioned, which an area director provides is the district representative that comes and visits your club occasionally throughout the year and is there for any questions you have. And we're here as a district. We have conferences, we have speech contests, we have anything that, or many opportunities, not only for you to have education sessions, officer training, mentoring, and any guidance. Our district website has just a ton of resources that we'll connect you with as well. But you're connected to the district long term. We're here to help you and support you and serve you.
So I'm sorry, I was, maybe this part is already gone. So did you already have, or are we having that pathway, some information?
Once you become a member, then you get a path. So in pathways, you choose a certain path of competencies that you want to work on. So one example is dynamic leadership. Another example is presentation mastery. Or maybe you want to work on humor. There's an engaging humor. And so you choose online, you choose your path. And that's your path. And you, as a member, it has a storage for you where it has all your projects, allows you to go through that. And it's in your handout that Charlie's waving back there. It's in your handout. There's 10 of those paths listed. And so you're going to get that with your membership.
I have one question.
Yes.
Do you have grammarian in each meeting?
So what we do here, so as we're talking with question and answer, there's a reason that we didn't have grammarian all counter today, is to have question and answer. So we have a streamlined meeting with our launch meetings like we did today, so that we have time to answer questions like we're doing. But you're right. So as you become a club and start establishing your foundation, you'll look into the roles you want to introduce, like grammarian, all counter, those types of roles that you can add to it.
So adding to this is like our counter is many a times I had the difficulty. I used to use the word like a lot. Using like in the right sense is okay, but just trying to have a filler word is what we use many times. So that's when we will have an R counter who will check on your filler words and he will give a report saying that you used so and so many times as a filler word, and we do and all those. So slowly that kind of filler words you will start when you speak. You become more fluent and the flow goes on. So those filler words are taken off. So that's one thing. And the another one is grammarian. And believe me, like other clubs, I'm sure grammarian is just one. He comes up with a word which we have to use. But I think in our club, grammarian will have a very important role because we are our community is weak in grammar, English grammar, so we will have to focus on that. So I think that will be a very strong role in our meetings. So that one was that. And adding to what Bobby said is we will have 2 mentors for this club, and I'm just glad to announce that Mr. Suresh Bashial, he has accepted to be one of the mentors.
Yes,
so please a big round of applause.
I also just wanted to say that there are a tremendous, just as we have a team of people who came in to do this meeting, we have people all over the area who are ready to come to your meetings when necessary. So if you have speakers or you don't, we can fill in where it's necessary, and if we need to fill in more experienced Toastmaster to perform certain roles for you, we're not going to leave you alone. Somebody will be here to help you.
And to Charlie's point, one of those is Pathways presentation. So we'll send somebody to give you a Pathways presentation so that you spend basically the hour going over Pathways so that you understand it and you can be accustomed to your education. So, question?
Is there an age limit to participate in this program?
Limit?
Age limit.
Age limit, 18. 18 and above.
Okay. Thank you.
There are what we call youth leadership programs for under 18, but as a Toastmaster itself, it's 18 and above.
Thank you.
There is a Gavel Club, by the way, in this area. The Gavel Club is basically Toastmasters for you.
We are planning to start Gavel Club here too very soon.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
We did youth leadership program here. We did.
You're going to start.
Youth
You
for
did a
entire
youth
year,
leadership program.
3 batches of
All right.
youth leadership.
If you need any assistance, Bindu Chanta is our youth leadership chair in the district. Should be happy to offer any assistance there as well. If y'all need any.
Thank you.
All right, so let's see here. We're a couple minutes past, but is there any other last minute questions? Otherwise, a couple of us will stay around for a little bit and we can answer questions afterwards. Please be sure to fill out your application if you are at all interested in joining, and get with Dinesh or Dinesh to collect those. I just will say this last word in closing. I mentioned I joined Toastmasters 5 years ago. And when I joined, to this gentleman's question earlier, when I joined, my why of joining was to become a better communicator and leader. I saw this flyer, it said, I could become a better leader and communicator. I went to the meeting, it was an open house, and I loved it so much that I joined that day. Only a couple hours later, I still remember it. It was February 11th, 2015. But at that time, I wanted to become a better communicator and leader, and that was my why, to develop me, to become better. As time went on, not only did I continue, and I still today continually to try to improve myself, but my why and my capacity of growth expanded because I was able to then start seeing other people grow around me, and I wanted to become a part of that. I wanted to become a part of helping others grow. And so what your why is today for joining, go with it, join, but know this, your why will evolve into something greater than you can conceive of today. And you'll look back on today and go, I'm so thankful that I joined Toastmasters and made Nepalese Society of Texas a new chartered club, and I was a charter member. So thank you for allowing us to come in today. We're looking forward to having you in our district. Thank you.
you.